Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Vijender Singh Tawar, Associate Professor in English. In the series of video lectures, which is being prepared by me, today's lecture or video is meant for the students of English Literature, paper first of class B, part first. And the topic which we are going to discuss or on which we are going to have a talk is Remembrance, a poem, actually a sonnet composed by the world famous writer, playwright, poet William Shakespeare. In this video, we are going to discuss about the explanation of the poem, because you will get a compulsory question on explanation, and at the same time, if you can understand each and every line, you can answer any question. So first of all, let us discuss something about the poet. The poet is, as you know, is William Shakespeare. He was born in 1564 and died in 1616. That is, we can say that he was a poet of Elizabethan age. And because of his compositions and their response, he has carved out a niche for himself in English literature. Carved out a niche for himself means has made a permanent place for himself in English literature. I would like to say that not only in English literature, but in the world of literature. Because he has been, that is, his works have been translated into all the languages of the world and they are taught everywhere in the world. He is the greatest poet and dramatist of English literature. He was a playwright. Actually, mainly he was a playwright, but he is regarded as the greatest poet of English literature. He has written 37 plays, and in his plays, he has written on all the topics. He has written historical plays, tragedies, comedies, romances, etc. He has composed, means he was a versatile genius. He has also written a sonnet sequence consisting of 154 sonnets. These sonnets were numbered by him. They were not given title. It is we who have given them title, and generally we identify each sonnet by the first line of the sonnet. These sonnets express the intensity of his feeling. Some of his plays, particularly As You Like It, King Lear, also contain poems which will continue to give pleasure to the readers throughout all ages. Means in his plays, even his characters speaks in poems. As You Like It, his character Jax in Macbeth, in King Lear, there are many characters who speak certain lines in the form of poems and they have become songs in English literature. Now, one more thing about the poet, that love and courtship were the traditional subjects of the sonnet, to which Shakespeare added the theme of friendship. Before Shakespeare, sonnets were composed, but the sonneteers or poets used to concentrate only on two subjects, two themes, love and courtship. William Shakespeare also started writing sonnets on the theme of friendship, and he examined this relationship minutely in his poems. While 126 of Shakespeare's 154 sonnets are addressed to his friend and patron, the Earl of Southampton. and 28 of them are addressed to a dark lady. These 1 to 154 sonnets we can divide to two categories. First category in which he has addressed it to his friend. The second to the dark lady. Dark lady was a lady to whom it is said that both Shakespeare and his friend have fallen in love. In all his works, Shakespeare exhibits an unequaled power of expression. Means he has presented things in a very impressive manner and profound insight into human nature. And he is a great poet of human psychology. He has created all kinds of characters: kings, queen, clown, hero, heroines, villagers, shepherds, all kinds of characters have been created by him. And he knows the psychology of human beings. Now let us come to the poem. The poem entitled Remembrance is one of the most famous sonnets composed by William Shakespeare. As I have told you that he has written 154 sonnets. It is a series, and this sonnet number is 30. That is, after this he has written 124 more sonnets. It is the most pensive and gentle of all the sonnets composed by William Shakespeare. The discontent, that is unsatisfaction with life, which was expressed in previous sonnets, that is up to 29, by Shakespeare still remains in this one. That is, he was not perfectly happy in this life. As the poet surveys his past life and all the sorrows it has brought him. Means when he surveys that he remembers the past, he finds that his past is not a happy one. The language which is used in this poem is quasi-legal, semi-legal, possibly based on that appropriate to a manorial court of some Jagirdar or Zamindar. Investigating discrepancies in its accounts, hence terms like waste, expensive, grievance, cancelled, tell over, paid before are employed, they're used by the poet. When the account is finally reckoned up, means finally it is taken up, with his dear friend added to the balance sheet, that is in his part or towards his side, his friend comes, the discrepancies and losses disappear, and all sorrow is outweighed by the joy of remembering him. In a word, the speaker discusses the fair youth's ability, that is his friend's ability, to raise his spirits even when he is at his most downtrodden, when he is extremely in a sorrowful state. His friend had the capacity, even the thought of his friend can pull him out, brings him out of that sorrow. Now let us come to the explanation of the poem. As I have told you, the poem is a sonnet. Sonnet is a poem of 40 lines and it is Shakespearean sonnet. So it will have 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. So first quatrain. Quatrain means a stanza of 4 lines. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought, I summon up remembrance of things past. Means these lines, first of all, let me tell you that I have given meanings of the difficult words. Sessions, the sitting of a court, summon up to make a feeling, an idea, a memory, etc. come into your mind. The idea is there is a person who is sitting lonely and silently and remembering his past. And he is remembering sweet things, that is, happy things which happened with him in the past. I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, means one desired, wished. But as he was thinking of the happy things, suddenly he remembers that there were many things he wanted to achieve in his life, but he could not achieve them. This make him sigh, means made him sad. He becomes unhappy. And with old woes, new wail my tears times waste. Old woes means the sorrow of the past. But as he now remembers in the present, so it is a kind of expression of sorrow in the present. And he remembers that he is he has wasted his time in the past. Now he cannot bring that time back. If we look at the note which is in your slide, you will find that almost a basic framework of the explanation has been given, as this poem is not available in the market, particularly in the book which is prescribed you, it is to be collected separately. So I have given you the text as well as explanation. The opening lines of the poem evoke the picture of a man sweetly and silently reminiscing, living once again the pleasant or sweet experiences of his past. Means it gives a picture that there is a person who is remembering his past and is remembering the past incidents or happy incidents of the past. The situation, however, soon shifts from silence to a sigh. As he is remembering of the happy incidents, suddenly he is reminding of many failure, non-achievements of his life, and the result is his happiness changes into sadness, from pleasantries to a lament for projects never completed, desires never fulfilled. There were many projects which he could not complete. There were many wishes which he could not fulfill in the past. That is, he was a failure in the past. The angst means a feeling of persistent worry about something trivial. Of this cannot be confined to the past, but burst into the poet's present consciousness. Means the poet becomes sad again in the present, though the reason is of the failure or non-achievement of the past or sorrow of the past. He suffers intense nostalgic pain for the wasted time that can no longer be reclaimed. He becomes very unhappy. Old wounds are reborn. Exacerbating means make a problem, bad situation or negative feeling worse, means worsen the situation, a fresh start. When he remembers the past failure or non-achievement, he becomes sad. It appears that he is freshly hurt by that sorrow in his life. Now, the second quatrain. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow? Now see this line. Drown an eye means weep. Drown means very large quantity of something in which one can drown. Here drown an eye means he can weep copiously. That is, he can shed tears copiously, unused to flow, though he was not in the habit of weeping. For precious friends hid in death's stateless night. When he remembers that he had many friends who are now no more, they are dead. And they are buried in the graves and they will never come back into their life. And weep afresh love's long since cancelled hope. Love's long, he had many affairs and he could not get success in those affairs. So this also makes him sad. And mourn the expense of many vanished sight. When it disappeared sight, here it means many things which he wanted but he could not achieve. These sights can be places, possessions, or events. It can be anything. So if you go by the line, the main line is, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled. The meaning is given, and weep once more over the pain of one or more love affairs, though I have long since written of the sorrow associated with them, though he had forgotten. But now, when he was remembering the past, he suddenly reminded of that and becomes sad. Now, see the note. The second quatrain of the sonnet expands this idea, that the same idea, but the pain is heightened as the author thinks of the people who will never again come into his life. Means they are dead and they will remain buried in their graves forever. This brings tears into the eyes as once again the pain of loss is relieved. Means he is reminded of his friends and he is sad again. The vanished sights lamented are the faces, but they can be faces of friends who have disappeared into death, and the emptiness of love that is no more, but also suggested are places, possessions, and events that can never be re-experienced. Means it can be anything which was very dear to him, which he remembers and he becomes very sad again. Now the third quatrain. Then can I grieve at grievances. Grieve is verb and grievances is noun. Foregone. Grievances, both are sorrow, foregone which are already passed. So the poet says, can he again feel sad, express sorrow about that sorrow which has passed in the past, and heavily from woe to woe tell over. And he is going, he is shifting by remembering from one sorrow to another sorrow because his past life is full of sorrow. There are many things he wanted, he desired, but he could not achieve. The sad account of poor bemoaned mourn means there was a failure or non-achievement in the past. At that time, he expressed sorrow. Now he had forgotten that. But because of the remembering of the past, he is again reminded of that sorrow, and he has to express again the sorrow. It appears to him that he is now paying or expressing the sorrow the second time, though he had expressed his sorrow in the past earlier, which I new pay as if not paid before. And he is expressing his sorrow as if he had never expressed sorrow before. So main line is which I now new pay as if not paid before. Means the sorrow caused by an earlier grievance requires that a debit of tears be chalked up against it. Although this debit has been cleared in the past, he now pays it over again as if he had not paid it off before. The line is quasi legal. The note, see the third quatrain adds little new content. I mean, the same idea is going on, but increases the weight and significance of the poem's central idea. The central idea, that is the main idea of the poem. The act of remembrance recalls old griefs into the present. Main idea, when he is remembering of the past failure, he is suffering in the present also, where they become as painful in their rebirth as they were the first time they were experienced. They were as painful as they were the first time. It is as if the persona of the poem were caught in a psychological trap from which there is no escape, and in which his mind, as if dragging chains, as he is in chain, and moves heavily from woe to woe, means from one sorrow to another sorrow, unable to escape from the images that repeat the sad account of four bemoaned mourn. Means he is not in a position to escape, to go away from the sadness which is experienced by him by the remembering the past. Though the account has been paid up in the past, the debt of pain is reopened and he must pay the entire amount again, as if he has to pay again everything. Now, couplet. As I told you, the poem is a sonnet. It consists of 14 lines and it is a Shakespearean sonnet, so 3 quatrains of 12 lines. Now, the couplet. The significance of this couplet or the importance of this couplet is till now the poet has been talking about the problem that when he remembers the past, he becomes sad. He has to pay or express sorrow again in the present of the unhappy incident that happened in the past. That is the main idea which is expressed in 3 quatrains. Now, in the couplet, the poet is trying to give us the solution of this problem. And the solution is as abstract as the sorrow or problem which is expressed in 12 lines. But if the while I think on thee, means when he was remembering of many things of the past, he was filled with sorrow. But now he is remembering his past and suddenly he is reminded of the fact that he has a friend in the form of Earl of Southampton, who is his best friend, dear friend. And when he remembers his friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. Means he is compensated duly and all his sorrows come to an end. That is, his friend is so precious to him that when he remembers his friend, all his sorrows disappear from his life. Now, if we look at the note, we find that after 12 lines of bewailing, crying, expressing sorrow, the symptoms of the persona's condition, the final couplet of the sonnet moves abruptly to the solution, that it gives solution. The cure is, that is solution is carefully coordinated with the disease. The disease was, for just as the patient's wounds were initiated by remembering the past, he became sad because he was remembering the past, so are they dissipated, disappeared by the thought of his current dear friend, that he has a friend who is very lovely, very precious in the and his best friend, so all his sorrows come to an end, which restores all the lamented losses and ends all the reborn, so all the sorrows come to an end when he finds the fact or when he remembers the fact he has a great friend in his life. Okay, thank you very